guys, it's Sam, and this is my spoilery gripe for A Gathering of Shadows by v.e. Schwab. As I said, this video will have spoilers in it, so if you've not read this book, go ahead and check out my spoiler-free review, which will be linked on the screen. So, as I said in my review, I don't feel like anything happened in this book, and that is why it got a lower rating from me. I just don't think that much really happened. You just have them building up to this tournament, and this tournament's supposed to be so cool, and it's gonna be so great. Preparing for the tournament. And then the tournament happens, and it's like glossed over. You barely get to see any of the battles. It doesn't seem that significant. And then it's all to get to the end where Kel gets taken by Holland and like that whole thing happens. Like that's all it is. And that could have been just tacked on to the end of or the beginning of one of the other books. You know, like it could have just been a duology. It didn't need to be a trilogy because nothing happened. And it was just keeping the protagonists apart for the majority of the book. And for them thinking about one another and being like, nah. And I'm like, why are they even in love? This is so stupid. I said that about A Darker Shade of Magic. I'm like, why do you guys even like each other? I don't get this romantic tension whatsoever from you two. Stop. So that's annoying. And every single plot point is just so predictable. I was reading this with Sarah Jane at the Book Life, and we were reading it around the same time. We weren't necessarily reading it together, but we were reading it on the same time. We were talking about how, like, we're liking it more than A Darker Shade of Magic, but we're also finding that nothing's really happening and that it's pretty predictable. And we were predicting what we thought would happen. And then as it happened, we would message one another and be like, that just happened. Like, we knew it was going to happen. It was so predictable. So we knew that eventually they were going to meet one another in the ring. You know, that they would, like, take each other's masks off or be revealed in the ring. We knew that was going to happen. We knew that Holland was going to take Kel, and that's how it was going to all end. We knew that Alucard and Rye had, like, a thing. Like, all of these things were just very, very predictable, and Lila constantly just being insufferable and just being, like, such a tropey character. She's so tropey. And just, being irritating. She's so irritating. And the whole thing about her being Antari, like, we've known since, like, the end of the last book, if not before. And you have it barely being mentioned for the entire book, and it's like, come on, mention it. And you'd think, if Lila was so damn smart, that she'd be looking at herself in the mirror and being like, am I Antari? I have this eye, blah, blah, blah. But she doesn't mention it until the very end, to the priest or whatever, I forget his name. Like, am I Antari, whatever. It's like, you haven't even hinted at that the entire book. You haven't been thinking about it, we've been in your head, you haven't been thinking about it, anything, and then you're like, I've been thinking about how I might be Antari. No, you haven't! We've been in your head! No, you haven't! Like, see, have her looking in the mirror and, like, checking out her eye and whatever. Like, have her thinking about this more often than just the very end. Like, it's just not well done, and it makes Lila seem stupid and impulsive instead of, like, smart and calculating. And you have Kel just being, like, mopey the entire time and moping about, like, seeing her and thinking about her, but it's like, why do you even like her that much? And you, like, have everybody treating him like shit when they really shouldn't be, because they should be more grateful for what he's done for them. And it's just like, it's just shitty. And the best thing about it was Alucard, because he's so funny and so likable, and I like him in, like, Rye's thing that they have going on or whatever. But everything else just, like, just waiting to get to the tournament, and then just waiting until when Holland's gonna take Kel. And, like, Holland is such a cool character, and of course, like, that's predictable too, because it's like, you push him through into Black London without him being dead. Of course he's gonna come back. Of course he's gonna come back and be the villain. And then he does dumb stuff too, because it's like, of course that crazy magical being is not gonna go by your rules. Like, of course. So that's just stupid. And just the characters really act like they're dumb. And don't think things through. And the thing about this series, I think that just really bothers me too, is, and I've said before, that I really like v.e. Schwab's young adult, but not so much her adult. And I think it's because she writes her adult as if it's young adult. She doesn't take it that far. Not that young adult can't be taken far, that's not what I'm saying, but I feel like there is a difference between adult and YA for a reason. And she could take it so much farther and make it so much darker, and she just doesn't. And I feel like it could just go there, and I feel like you're supposed to think it's going there, and then it just doesn't. Like, you could make it so much darker. You could make the stuff with the Black London so much darker. You could make things about the world just so much darker and more brutal, and they're just not. It's generally a very happy series. Like, I don't ever really feel like the characters are that much in danger. Like, I always think they're going to be fine. There's never really a level of threat that I feel like there should be with this series, because it doesn't feel like any of these characters are going to end up dead or wronged or anything. Like, I think they're all going to be fine. There's also a severe lack of female characters. I hate that Lila's basically the only female character. Yes, you have a couple in and out who Lila always says is badass, and that's cool. She always likes the other female characters, whatever, but you don't have any kind of relationship with them. Lila's always this very much like, I'm not like other girls kind of character. I think there's even a line that says where she's like, I'm not like other girls. She has this inner monologue of like, I'm the best thing ever. And that's really irritating too. It's like, you can be confident, but don't be just like a cocky asshole where she's like, there's no one else in the world like me. Like, she does her monologue like that numerous times, and it's so annoying. And yeah, I don't like the characters that much besides Alucard and Rye, basically. I like Kel, but like, he can be kind of annoying. So I end up not enjoying how long these books take and how off the pacing is, because it takes you so long to get to any of the meat of the story, which is packed into the very last part of the book, and it doesn't make up for the fact that you're just wandering through nothing for the majority of the book. So, for that reason, I gave this book 2 stars. I don't feel like much happens in these stories at all. I liked it more than the first book, but not by much. I'm gonna read the last book, because why not? Probably read it on audio. I'm in no hurry to read it or anything, but I think that this story has such a cool premise, and it continues to fail to execute that for me. So comment down below, let me know what you thought of A Gathering of Shadows. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all guys soon. Bye!